ladies and gentlemen. Yep. We are currently, looks like some issues going on with the microphone. All right, we're fixing to go live. Everybody's fixing to get their cars on. And we're going to do a GRC race on the oval track. So just bear with me one moment. All right, for some reason or another, the track is still on and should not be on. Is it off now? All right. I hope that fixes it. Jason Howard, Bo McPherson will be out of the race by the third lane change. Well, you have to take that up with Bo.
I would have to agree. What'd you say?
What's going on, Tim? I didn't say it. Jason said it. He said you'll be out by the third lane change.
Right,
yeah, Jason, where are you? You're supposed to be
Howard.
down here racing.
Chicken Little Howard. You're just scared, Jason.
Did you hear that, Jason? All right, I'm going to go out there and check and make sure everybody's got their cars on and ready to go. Bo, you going to win this race tonight?
Hope so.
I will tell him that, Jason. Bo keeps looking at the camera. He must think he's important. Bo, is that true? Are you
No, I was
important?
looking over here to see what lane it was on, Jason.
Oh.
Good Lord. Beat him up. He's just scared because he's not here.
Jason, I mean, I'm hearing a lot of these guys say you're scared, man. You better get down here and show them you ain't. I know you got one of these cars.
Excuse me, big dude.
Sorry, man. He might be a little sensitive there, Jason.
All right, everybody. Is it coming in good? Everybody got their controllers hooked up?
Scared them half to death with the microphone there. It's increasingly loud. Y'all good? Get ready. Here we go, here we go. Woo. Got a couple of them get into each other there. One of the cars coming out here even in the back stretch. So we see Bo and looks like Nathaniel maybe got into each other a little bit. I think they're on. All right. Just taking a quick look here at the median lap times. Bruce Bullington so far out in front with 2.07 and the best lap of 1.994. Some changes going to be coming to this track here in just a short bit. We'll be moving the start-finish line here at the track. As you can see, a lot of the times you'll see my wife grab the cars and put them behind the start-finish line just to kind of stop some of the having to go and pick cars up and put them behind the start-finish line. We're going to end up right before you go into Dead Man's Corner. That's going to be the start-finish line, so that we don't have to worry about cars coming out and whether or not they got their lap or not. We'll know for sure at that point that everybody that crosses that line gets their lap. It's the stopping and putting cars back behind it. We have noticed a significant amount of errors taking place in the software, as we see Bo giving Nathaniel a little bit of the bullhorns there in the Dead Man's Corner. But we have noticed by stopping the track and putting cars where they ought not be, really, if they did get the lap, it ends up causing issues in the software sometimes. So we're going to end up moving that to Dead Man's Corner, and then we won't have to worry about that. So we're halfway through the heat. Bruce Bullington's still in the lead. Nathaniel Burden pretty close behind him as we get another car to come off there. Possibly a bent car, most likely. Glenn Burden's there. My brother at the end of Dead Man's Corner, and my wife there at the crook of the track, helping the track marshal. also killed the track. See everybody here pretty consistently tagging along. Tim says, go Bruce. Yeah, Bruce has had a consistently fast car, as you can see here. Bruce, he enjoys running pretty consistent laps. He says he was going to want to try to push a little bit more and increase some of his lap times. But he says his main focus, when I talked to him earlier, is just keeping the car on and learning in slow steps. But it's been working for him. As you can tell, there's a big difference between the Bruce that we see now versus the Bruce that we knew when we first started racing here. Of course, Bruce, he stays on. His car's, looks like we're going back green for at least a few seconds here, but his car, a lot of the times, a lot smoother, good coast going on in his car. As you can see, that car just straight coasting around the high banks there. Him and Randy Kirtley both seem to have their cars really good and juiced up, it looks like. We see Bruce Bullington there with 57 laps. Close behind, though, Bo McPherson and Randy Kirtley with 55. Nathaniel also with 54. Of course, Glenn Burden took a few hits there on red lane, as to be expected this early on. But Randy Kirtley coming out lucky with 55 laps there on white for sure. And so we take a quick look here, just to take a look outside. A nice clear night here. Looks like I got another cobweb or two for me. I'll let those live, get rid of the mosquitoes, which I guess the mosquitoes are gone. Got a couple of the guys next door working on a Mexican restaurant, so that might be about 2 weeks out, possibly. Maybe less, we'll see. But I'll be right back with you. I'm going to put you on the oval camera for the next couple of minutes, and I'll be back with you whenever we go back green. We're heading back green as we see Alicia Gaddis, thank you for chiming in. Go Bruce. Everybody's rooting for Bruce tonight. I'll tell you what, just like I said before the break, Bruce Bullington, for sure, his car is tuned in there. You see him there on blue, reeling in Glenn Burden there on green. So his car is really freed up. Surprise tonight, at least from the other night, whenever we see Randy Kirtley. I'll tell you what, both of these guys' cars are really tuned in there. Bruce, he's on another level tonight. It's like what you guys said to him the other night. Maybe a hit hard to him and hit him strong in the home. I don't know, but When y'all was telling him to pick it up, he sure is picking it up tonight. What a great coast he had there as he come out of Dead Man's Corner there into the crook of the track and even got that lap. Thank you for the like. Jason, Randy is your hero. Well, he's my hero too. And he also is my dad, so I can understand that sentiment there. Randy Kirtley got the nickname Octopus Arms. If you guys have heard me call him Octopus Arms, it's for a reason. Whenever he track marshals, it's like he's got 8 arms. He can put like 8 or 9 cars on within half a second, so I've been calling him Octopus Arms. But that's his nickname for this week anyway. Most of the time we just call him Pappy. But I'll tell you what, back to Bruce Bullington, as you can see him reeling in Bo and passing Bo there. Of course, Bo being on the high side, going to be a little bit slower, but it's just like nobody is up to the match here for Bruce as he goes to pass Glenn again on the inside. You see, anything that possibly could be close to Bruce would be Randy Kirtley's smoothness of his ride there on red, but not even to be surmatched with Randy Kirtley's. It takes him just a little bit more effort to try to reel Randy in. Both of these guys' cars really running free and smooth. As we get a red flag for a lane rotation there, these guys are going to roll around. We'll take a quick look at TrackMate to compare what we got going on here. We see Randy Kirtley with 58 laps turned on red. That's 8 laps more than what Glenn was able to turn. Of course, hardly any wrecks to be had there, so that was something to see. But wow, look at this, 61 laps turned on blue from Bruce Bullington. Like I said, really putting the pressure on. So we can see Randy Kirtley with 56.5, currently only run the high lanes. That's quite high average for the high lanes, as we can see. Nathaniel Burden, Bo McPherson, and Glenn Burden right around there fighting for 3rd place. So we go back to the oval just to take a look at these guys as they work on their car. You see Bruce pulling his car off there. We're going to take a small break, and we'll see you when we get back on. we see that Bruce Bullington came off there in the high banks. Got a couple of new guys come in tonight. Was interested in slot car racing, hadn't done it in quite some time. So we're excited to see these guys come back, and they wanted to check it out. Rented a couple of our rental cars and stuff. Come from an RC background. It's good to see them guys, and hopefully they'll come back and join in with us and add a little bit more competition. Most of the guys you guys know just started here at Lanes Raceway, so everybody's just now starting to get the rhythm, as you can see. Getting really good competitive GRC race turnouts here, and guys are staying on the track more. As we see Bruce there making that pass on over Nathaniel on black, really tight and close there in dead man's corner. But Bruce still just leading the way here as he's almost running away with the pack here. Randy Kirtley now on the lower lane of green, consistently speaking, pretty close within a tenth of a second to Bruce, but not the caliber that Bruce is running currently there on that lower lane of purple. So see my wife there, quick hands, getting the car back on. Bo McPherson there on red lane. We messed a little bit with his car a couple weeks ago and got that thing really smooth. As you can see, a big improvement with this car. For one, I mean, Bo's really been working on that trigger finger, working on his rhythm. Got his car really good and smooth, and got him a new controller, and that's been helping him a lot too. As you can see, none of these guys really coming off as per usual, like we usually see in the GRC. Usually it's a full-blown debacle. Now granted, we don't have a full crew here tonight, and that helps a lot also, especially whenever the cars tend to cluster up. These guys are able to kind of spread out and only run into each other whenever they have to reel each other in. Helps the eyes, helps mentality for the hand-eye coordination, as we see Bruce making a pass again over top of Nathaniel Burton's car. So like I said, guys, Bruce has really been putting in the work to get this car dialed down. He's even trying himself a new gear ratio tonight, and it seems to be really working for him, as we can tell. Randy Kirtley also trying a new gear ratio. It doesn't seem to be having the effect that Bruce is having, but Bruce is really having a showing tonight for sure, as he's coming out here, no bars held, yet another fast heat of 60 laps on purple lane, to be compared to Nathaniel's 56, which is pretty close. All these guys are relatively within a few laps of each other, but nonetheless, Bruce really making a showing here tonight with an average of 59.3 laps. Closest next to him, Randy Kirtley, the veteran octopus arms, just really giving it all he can to keep up with Bruce. Well, a new month has started, and we just checked back on Rush, and I believe it's Rockin' Rod that won our tournament. First, second, and third place in our tournament. I believe that's his initials anyway. We posted that on Facebook earlier, as he's getting himself a big prize of right at $20, pretty close to it. So it was good to see that we had a good success there on Rush, and we was very pleased with that, especially the tournament, how many people were really trying to buy for it. But really, there just ain't no stopping Rockin' Rod. That's his game for sure. As you can see, he outclassed every one of us, even Kay, who is a professional pinball player out of Tennessee. So this month, we'll be starting on Mandalorian. As some of the people know, we just do a direct rotation back into Mandalorian, and then from then Godzilla. So come out, try to get into the tournament. It's an extra credit to be able to get into the tournament versus a regular play. But we encourage that. Also, we'll be making a post soon for singles and doubles. We're going to have a little pinball. So that'll be on Facebook. You guys can check that out. Sign up if you want, and maybe get on there and play some pinball with us. Come out and have a good showing. Maybe have some prizes and giveaway. And I know first prize was hinted that it's going to be 2 months free pinball. So that's going to be exciting. But pinball's really fun little sport. I believe it to be a sport anyways. It takes a lot of mental acuity for sure to be able to hit those shots, and it gets exciting even if you're not winning to see somebody else be able to hit those shots. So as we turn back to the race here, 25 seconds left to go. We'll see Gabriel Kirtley there giving a good old hat tap there to Bo McPherson. Good luck tap, I guess you would say. Gabriel Kirtley gave Bo McPherson a new nickname, calls him Bo the Bruiser. Pretty good fitting name, I would say. So we see Tony Michael Gaddis here. My father-in-law, Bruce, is my hero also. I'll tell you what, man, Bruce is a especially kind gentleman for sure. As he comes in here, and I always enjoy having talks with Bruce. Most of the time, it's always about gear ratios and slot car racing. As we see all these guys here barely able to make it for the start of this, but Bruce really just running off with it already out of the gate on black, reeling in Randy Kirtley on blue. But we see Randy Kirtley there, one of his strong lanes being blue, so if Bruce can reel Randy in on blue, which it looks like he's able to do, it looks like Bruce might be able to run away with this tonight as we get a small wreck there, a couple wrecks. We'll have to hit the track call on that to get these cars back on. So we have two track marshals, my brother and my wife tonight, and they are not octopus hands for sure. Oh, octopus arms, Randy Kirtley could have done that in a cinch, but these guys, they need to work together and hit that track button for sure. As we go back green racing, and yet again, a good burst of speed coming out of Bruce Bullington's car there on black, turning impressive lap times here with a 1.745, almost to the point of breakout. So we do set a breakout here. Currently, our breakout, if you look in the top of the screen, which looks like it's pixelated on your left-hand screen, we can go to TrackMate here real quick, and you can see here in TrackMate right up here at the top, that's our breakout, 1.6 seconds there, minimum lap time. If they go over that, then, or if they go under that, I'm sorry, then they'll break out for the lap, and that lap won't count. As we try to keep these cars relatively within a certain demeanor, very, very hard to get to that lap. It's technically supposed to be impossible. But if somebody wants to figure out a way how to make these motors somehow or another turn faster than 1.7 seconds, you're doing something for sure. And that's what that breakout set there. As each one of these motors, the GRC motor, stomp motors, I believe, yeah, I was right. So they're 30,000 RPM, and you know, they shouldn't be able to, on this track, to be able to turn past 1.7. So we set the breakout for 1.6. If you get a rider or something like that, it'll cause a breakout also. As we get a yellow flag call here, Gabriel Kirtley quickly getting that car back online. There in the high banks, you see the man of the hour here, Bruce Bullington. This is his night for sure, as he's really driving this car home. We see also there Nathaniel Burton letting a smooth pass go by there with Bruce, as Bruce now almost 10 laps ahead of any competitor. The TrackMate showing the data here. Bruce Bullington turning an impressive 64 laps there on black. Something to see. Like I said, Randy Kirtley there nipping at his heels as he was gaining his average now, 58.5 average time. So there might be something there. Randy might be able to reel Bruce in, but I'll tell you what, it's going to be a nail biter for sure as we see Randy Kirtley getting down into his lower lanes. His next lane, of course, being purple lane. We can kind of see a little bit of a difference here between Randy and Bruce. Bruce turning one less lap on green than Randy. Randy turning 2 laps more on blue. So these guys are really right there with each other as, for one, these guys are usually sharing information with one another. As everybody else is out there trying to get the fastest lap that they can, we all kind of gather together and just try to share as much information as we possibly can. I'm going to go out there right now, if I can, and see if I can get a quick little bitty interview there with Bruce. So Bruce, I gotta know, man, that car's really smooth. So let everybody know. Do you think you're gonna be able to bring this thing home tonight?
These guys can win anytime. Thing is, I went home from last week. I got my butt spanked, so I tore it all down and started over.
Well, I'll tell you what. From last week, from last week, whenever, like you said, you got your butt spanked, everybody was on the comments saying you needed to pick it up, you know. And I will say this much: you have picked it up, haven't you? He says yes, slightly. Randy Kirtley, I got to know. I see you reeling in Bruce there, coming down on Blue Lane. So everybody's wanting to know. This is what they want to know. Is Octopus Arms a good name for you?
No,
It's a great name.
made up.
That's something. Truly, it was something I made up. But I was just trying to get a laugh out of you because I know you're out there racing hard with Bruce, and I need you to quit being so serious so that you can get that done.
I got to catch up to him. Got to try to hold on to him.
5 seconds to go as we see these guys eagerly get back ready to race. Somebody's probably going to end up hitting the button here. All right, Amanda Latham says, go, Dad, go. I'll tell you what, he sure is going there. With 247 laps, the only competition he has is Randy Kirtley at this point. Randy Kirtley there sometimes gets real serious and really hyped up. I've known him my whole life. He is my dad. I try to make him laugh every once in a while. It's good for him. As he is right, I did give him the nickname Octopus Arms. But I'll tell you what, you go back about 3 races ago, and I watched that man put 4 cars on, the fastest I've ever seen, about where my wife is standing now. He would have already had those cars put back on before somebody could even hit that track call button. But it was something to see, so I thought it was a fitting nickname for sure. But we'll see how these two do, as both of them are right at the next to each other. One can hit the other can hit the other. And we'll see how close and tight that they race each other, especially in this heat, as it's going to be one of the 2 times that they will meet each other on this racetrack. As we see Bruce there on yellow, Randy Kirtley on purple. Can Randy Kirtley reel in Bruce? It's looking like they're fighting for everything they got to try to do so. If all things are correct and Bruce holds out strong, he should be able to keep Randy from passing him. But it looks like Randy's really driving her in there deep on purple, whereas we see Bruce is kind of playing the safer route and kind of smoothly going in on yellow. This is a good strategy, especially if you're trying to turn as many laps as you possibly can. I've done this strategy myself several times, especially if a car is just a little bit faster than me. It's better just to let them go on by sometimes. But like I said, if you have that inside line, a lot of the times guys are not just going to lift up. And like I said, nor should they, especially if they're running for the lead. And in this case, Randy Kirtley is trying his best to reel in Bruce Bullington as much as he can and get as many laps as he can. As he gets a friendly pass by there for Glenn Burton, Randy Kirtley able to pass Glenn Burton without too much trouble as Glenn left off in the backstretch. Like I said, that is a good strategy also, especially if cars are just a little bit quicker than you. But as we know, Glenn Burton, that's just a part of his character. Glenn Burton always lets everybody go by him without too much of a fuss if he knows for sure that they are faster than him. As we go back to the track mate and we see Bruce Bullington here on yellow lane turning 63 laps. Like I said, this is going to be a nail biter between him and Randy Kirtley. If we're both of them up in the 60s on the lower lanes and the upper 50s in the top lanes, both of these guys are fighting tooth and nail to get that victory. We see the rest of the field fighting for 3rd place, all within 1 lap of each other. As we see 55, 54, 53 is their average. 272, 278, 267. 3rd place is up for grabs by any of these 3, whether it be Nathaniel, Bo, or Glenn, for that final payout position. So really shaping up to be somewhat of a tight nail clinch biter for sure for the podium finishes for tonight's race. Speaking of podium finishes, we go over to take a quick look at our point standings for currently in the championship standings for the Fairview IT Cup Series that we're running currently. This week, our sponsor is going to be Bravo Plumbing Services, located in Owensboro, Kentucky. Give these guys a call for your plumbing services. I know my brother uses them here the guys next door, they've been using them, and so far haven't heard of much complaint. So these guys are going to be our weekend sponsor, and I'll give you more information on that as the race weekend continues. But right now, Randy Kirtley currently leading in the championship points. Glenn Burton not missed one race weekend. As we can see, he's the only guy left that hasn't missed one race weekend. Glenn Burton doing everything he can to hang on to that second place, as he's very, very close with Paul Woosley, as there might be a little bit of competition between these two before it's all said and done. But nonetheless, you can see in the far right the payout schedule there for what these guys will be getting. Maybe a few bonuses here and there, depending on if Glenn can hold all the way out and do every single one of these races. I've talked to a colleague before about special prizes in that matter. But nonetheless, it's shaping up to be a very competitive, a very fast series, as everybody is trying to get as many laps as they can in that. So please tune in this weekend and tell your friends, family, and maybe y'all have a viewing party or something. But check in on these guys as we go back to the Oval Cam and see how these guys are shaping up with 20 seconds left to go. We're going back green, and right out of the gate again, you see Bruce is really hitting it home there. Randy Kirtley on black lane with a little less track to run, as we see Bruce moving back up to the higher lanes here. We're going to start getting a little bit of comparison between him and Randy Kirtley for sure. I ran off and forgot to leave the mic out there so you guys can hear the cars. But I'm back now, and like I said, I just had a little bit of a quick conversation there as I had the microphone muted to talk to someone. It's my brother, as he come in here. And the Gateway Nationals is going on right now for the dirt track enthusiasts out there. So even if you guys are not coming to get in a race, or you're a little bit wanting to find something to do, come on out to the track. We're going to have a couple TVs on with that on. I think it's like $150 or $200 to watch that race. But if you're not doing anything else, you guys want to see that race, come on down and hang out with us. We're going to end up ordering some pizzas and stuff this weekend, and you guys can watch that race if you like to check that out. That dirt in December, I think, is what they say a lot of the times. As it's a very, very tiny track, and those cars barely have enough room to squeeze by two, but I've seen before where three of them will squeeze by. But it's a pretty fast and furious type dirt track race for sure. It's all late models, and some of your favorite late model racers, of course, are all there. We even got a couple friends that are down there right now. I think my brother was talking to someone on the phone earlier trying to get him on the TV screen, but he wouldn't move over far enough to get on the TV screen. But nonetheless, back to racing, as we say. Bruce Bullington being able to hold Randy Kirtley off as he's turning just a little bit higher of the median. We've kind of seen the same thing take place earlier with Randy Kirtley compared to Bruce, where Bruce was turning a higher, lower median than Randy. But we see that in reverse now, as Bruce is moving higher up the track and Randy is moving lower. So these guys, like I said, are really right there on each other as we come down to the last second of this race. We're going to start being able to compare the two as we go. Like I said, so far we've seen a couple where Randy has had a couple lap lead in the specific heat or so. We got a couple guys out there about coming out and stuff like that. Like I was telling you guys earlier, we're going to end up moving the start-finish line, so that kind of stuff doesn't happen, as we've seen a little bit of an argument whether or not he passed the lap time or what. But now we've hit the red flag and we're going into a lane rotation. Let's take a quick look at the track mate and compare our top two finishers here. As we see 60.5 average lap time of Randy Kirtley, almost completely finishing his lower lane. 61.3 average laps of Bruce Bullington. Where we can compare them here, we see blue lane, Bruce turning 2 laps less than Randy, 1 lap less on green. We can see Bruce turning 4 laps less on purple, and it looks like 1 lap less than black. So it looks kind of like right now Randy has somewhat of an advantage, if maybe possibly that average keeps going in the way that it is. There might be a catching take place here soon, and maybe a swap between first and second place. Taking a place look down at third, we see 56 laps turned by Glenn, right at a full lap difference between him and Bo McPherson. But Bo's now fixing to start turning on black lane, so his average is going to increase, and we'll see if that'll tighten up a little bit also, as we have 1 minute and 42 seconds left to go. Take a quick look back over to Oval Cam and watch these guys work on their cars, because I know that's what you guys want to see. If you can maybe zoom in a little bit and see if there's any kind of technique or something these guys are doing maybe you missed out on if you slot car race. I don't know if you can zoom that good or not, but you see Gabriel Kirtley there working or messing with the car there, possibly of Bruce's. Bruce just got him a new 201 here at the slot car track. For those that don't know, the 201 DeFalco just now came out. It's built off the platform of the Neo 17, but it has a 30 band chipset there for pad on it, so that you got 30 individual resistant channels, and it also has traction control, whereas the Neo 17 lacks the traction control. It's about the difference between about 40 or 50 bucks, but the gauge wire also increases to let you run a faster car. So it all works out, and like I said, it's a good intermediate slash beginner type controller for sure. If you go above that, you're looking at quite a more expensive controller, kind of like what Bo's got there with the 281 Pro, the most expensive controller we sell here at Lanes Raceway. Now, of course, the benefits are, a whole lot more. As you get a thicker gauge wire, you get the relay box, the distance between trigger control and stuff like that also, or that you can run the faster cars without melting the controller down. But the way Bruce is running, if we ever do run something serious like that, it'll just be a matter of time before he slots in there with the rest of them. As we go back green, Bruce turning the first lap, followed by Bo McPherson. Gabriel Kirtley quickly slotting that car back on for Bo. Bo probably struggles the most there on black lane, as we see, that Bruce came off there and took a car with him. I believe that to be Nathaniel Burton's car, possibly. It's either Nathaniel's or Glenn's. Well, I'm sorry, I was wrong on both accords. It was Randy Kirtley's car. Randy Kirtley's car with a little bit more acceleration, it seems, out of the gate. Possibly a gear ratio difference between him and the race leader, Bruce Bullington, as we see that Randy has got him now within 2 laps. And we keep hearing cars hit pretty solid down there, as maybe these are some of the worser lanes that people are encountering for tonight. Quick follow here of Glenn Burton there on orange, just trying to see how he's running. Running a good smooth transition there on orange, not too much back play out of his car. As we see Gabriel Kirtley viciously trying to get Nathaniel Burton back on red. As Nathaniel, consistently that I've watched him race, he runs red lane faster than any person that I've seen. He likes to drive that dude deep. Now, whether or not the lap times will show that, I don't know, but I will tell you what, when it comes to going through Dead Man's Corner, Nathaniel Burden drives Dead Man's Corner like he is Tokyo drifting. He drives it hard and he drives it home. So we see Glenn Burton there getting put back on behind the line there. Like I said, driving that orange lane smooth. We also see Bo McPherson for black lane, usually being a hard lane for Bo, really driving it smooth since he's got his new controller. And I'll tell you what, driving that thing smooth and keeping people off of him. He come to me earlier today and he was letting me know, he says, hey man, that motor's starting to build up a lot of heat. And I think we're starting to see that with Bo's now, as we see Bo's car just almost on a lay down for him, as if the gear ratio might be a little too short for him. And I know Bo really likes to drive hard, so that car has definitely got some motor issues with it currently. I can just by looking at it, it is quite a bit slower than everybody else. But it's not something that can't be fixed. If we get a break out there on Nathaniel Burton's, must have had a rider or something like that. My wife's going to get that put back on, and that was Bruce Bullington. As that cost him a few laps there, as Randy Curley is now, since we've been talking, took the lead from Bruce, as Bruce had a rough white lane. As we see, Bruce was able to turn 49 laps on white lane against Randy Curtley's 55. We see the devastating differences taking place now as Bruce has firmly set himself in second place. I don't think Bruce is going to give that huge lead of second place up to Glenn, but Glenn needs to really watch behind him, as Bo McPherson has got him within one average lap, and Glenn is going to be turning in white lane next, while Bo will be having his bit on yellow lane, being able to turn quite a bit faster lap time. So the next heat will all boil down to Glenn Burden and Bo McPherson for sure, to see who's going to take home that final position in the podium. Bo McPherson, that last heat is what's going on. I got to know, you got an average lap that's within one lap to Glenn right now. I think maybe you and Glenn might have somewhat of a heated heat this last heat. Do you think you can pick up the pace a little bit and maybe reel Glenn in for that final podium finish?
I don't know. Glenn's a veteran. I'm a rookie.
Say that again. I think my speaker cut you out.
I don't know. Glenn's a veteran. I'm a rookie.
Hey, you know, there's another rookie in here right now, that man right over there. And up until this last heat, he was holding first place down by the name of Bruce Bullington. Bruce Bullington is in a die-hard race tonight up against the veteran Randy Curtley. Randy Curtley just had him a good heat last heat. Bruce had him a rough heat. So the same thing could take place. So do you think now, knowing that you could possibly maybe reel in the veteran Glenn?
Maybe.
Well, Glenn, I got to know. He's maybe. So what do you say, Glenn? All right, I don't even got to go over there to let y'all see Glenn. He said, no way. What was that, Glenn? Choke under the pressure. We got 1 second left to go. I better get back in there. Good luck to you guys and race hard. All right, it's boiling down to this. Let's take a look at Glenn there. Glenn's turned 5 laps so far with a best lap of 2.177, a median of 2.23. Bo McPherson really cranking it home with 1.95, a few tenths faster than Glenn Burden. He really needs to get that median down just a hair more to be able to reel Glenn in. So Glenn would have to make several wrecks for that to take place. But a minute and 36 seconds left to go. Anything is possible as we see 396 of Bo McPherson and Glenn Burton of 402. Six laps difference separating the two. As we get back going green, we're keeping an eye on Bo to see if he's able to reel in that white lane. As we see Bo crisscrossing there in a pack, caught between Randy Kirtley and, well, just Randy Kirtley right now, as he was able to miss that wreck there. That wreck actually helped him in a coast to catch up a little bit with Glenn, as he's 403 or 404 to 408. He's already gained 2 laps on Glenn. It is possible, as Glenn was really cocky, as one of the veteran racers here, Paul Woosley, will always say, don't get cocky until the race is over. This might be one of those situations where Bo really has the heart to live it out and take that final podium finish from Glenn. He's really going to have to dig deep, as we got 4:16 to 4:19, 55 seconds left to go. It's looking like he's reeling him in. He's got him within 3 laps here. Bo McPherson giving everything he's got. He really needs just one more come off, as we see that might have been it right there, as we're both on the same lap now. Bo McPherson driving his heart out, giving it everything he's got to be able to take that last little bit. With 44 seconds left to go, ladies and gentlemen, I think he might be able to do it. It's been a while since we've seen Bo McPherson in the podium, and I'm sure he'll be happy to get a picture if he's able to do that. But if I know anything about Glenn Burton, he's got nerves of steel, especially whenever it's on the wire, and it may just boil down to that Glenn holds it off and keeps that from Bo McPherson. But we still have 45 seconds left to go. As it seems that Glenn is possibly having a few issues with his car here. Possibly a bad motor or something, or maybe some brake issue. As we see my brother taking a look, my brother would be able to diagnose any problems that are happening with this car, but it's definitely not something that Glenn's been wanting to see here as he was racing for position. But at the same time, that's how racing goes sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. Not the firework type change in position that I was really wanting to see. I was really wanting to see these guys battle it out, but it seems like it's yet again an issue with the car, and that's going to settle who gets the podium. But nonetheless, Bo McPherson, at least the past couple times that he has raced, has had issues with his car, and it seems like now maybe that's changed, and now that's kind of went over a little bit on Glenn. But that's racing, and you can't win them all, and you can't lose them all, I always say. So a lot of the times you just kind of finish somewhere in the middle, and it's good to see that Bo's back in a podium for sure, as I've been rooting for him for a little bit as we've been working on his car. I've been really wanting to see it do well. But alas, he's still figuring things out, and he's still young at this for sure, going against guys that's been doing it quite some time. So I'm very impressed with what he's been able to do with the car that he's got. As it's took quite a few hits as he's been here pretty much since we started the GRC, him and Glenn both for that matter. And I'll tell you what, that car of his has took quite a bit of lickings on the back of the dead man's corner. To be able to get it straightened up and tightened up to where that it don't bend every heat is a miracle in its own. So we see now Glenn Burton's car back into former action as he takes a pass from the man on the inside there, Nathaniel Burton. So he's really digging deep as he's really trying to pull this back in within 2 laps now. We see, I can't see it happening after such bad luck that took place. And I hate it for Glenn as he's my pinball buddy. But Glenn knows sometimes that's racing, and I know Glenn's always got a good attitude about things like that. As he's racing his heart out and not giving up and giving it everything he's got to try to reel him back in. Randy Kirtley there on orange lane pretty much solidified his first lead. Well, this is only the second heat as we go through checkered flags here. Your race finishers, first, second, and third, Randy, Bruce, and Bo, rounding up the podium finish. Take a quick look here at the track mate, and we can kind of see what happened to Glenn there on White Lane. Actually turning an impressive White Lane even after so much trouble. 51 laps turned there on White Lane. So you can see the difference between him and Bo was the White Lane. Bo was able to turn 54 to Glenn's 51. And like I said, how competitive these are. Your race winner turned 55 laps on white, and Bo McPherson turned 54. So like I said, within a lap or half a lap, a lot of the times it just boils down to luck on a tri-oval. And that luck sometimes is in your favor, sometimes it's against you, depending on how things go in Dead Man's Corner and the red and white lane for each individual. But as we see tonight, that worked out great for Randy, Bruce, and Bo as they are podium finishers. They got a little track bugs coming their way, and I wish them the best. If we have another race or something like that, maybe I'll get back on, but this is Don and Curtley at Lanes Raceway, and I hope you had a good time. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you this weekend.